to all of you, and this thing will raise some clarity in your mind. Whenever you heard the term, or whenever you listen the term government, what do you understand, or what things comes in front of you or in your mind? Any student would like to mention it or like to say something? Whenever you used to term, or we used to say the word government, for example, if I will say the government, what do you means what things comes in your mind? Rahul has said that politics. Unnati, Utkarsh, Khushi?
Parliament and lawmaking.
Okay, parliament and lawmaking. Here I would like to say that the John Locke has said that government doesn't mean that parliament or the lawmaking body, but he has said that it is a kind of a body, or it is a kind of declaration of independence for all the for all the individual. Because without government, no individual is free. Free, I mean to say that there is no boundaries have been mentioned that who can violate the boundaries of others boundary, like the right to property. So he has seen that the government will work as a kind of security. The government will provide the security to the individual in terms to their natural rights, in terms to their natural rights, in terms of right to life, right to liberty, and right to property. So he was talking about that John Locke has said that the state has been created to make the security, to provide the security to the natural rights. So in this regard, we can see, and how we can see in terms of the USA, that in the USA the declaration of the independence has been taken place, and after the declaration in the 1776, we have seen that how there was written constitution has been drafted up. So why in the USA also, why the people have declared for the independence, what was the purpose? So you will realize that also that they have also formed the government which have protected their rights, related to the liberty, equality, or the justice term is there. It was far broader than the John Locke's concept of natural right. But here, just I wanted to make one important point in front of you. Here, the next question, which I would like to ask you that. Do you believe in a natural good, that what you call naturally all human beings are good? Anyone? Anyone like to say that? Do you believe that naturally all human beings are good, or naturally all human beings are corrupt? Say some words. Anyone, Khushi and all? No, sir. Okay. अनंत, क्या सभी आदमी मतलब कि प्राकृतिक रूप से सभी आदमी अच्छे होते हैं? उत्तर, would you like?
Sir,
Yes.
am I
Yes.
audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel that like the inherent human nature is good only, but like it depends on people's social circumstances how they turn out to be. But yeah, deep down everybody is the same.
Okay. Here I would like to say, ask you one very important question to all of you. Have you ever seen that the person who is illiterate or the uneducated, especially the person who don't have the what you call the knowledge about the society, what you call the activities related to the society, and they have not read the book. On the other hand, a person who have knowledge about all the things, all the books, and all the economics, permutation, combination, means he's aware about all the things. So have you find the difference between these two person, that the person who is illiterate, what kind of personality he is having or she is having? On the other hand, a person who is a very well educated person is here, what kind of thinking thoughts of the educated person is here? Have you ever seen those kind of differences between these two persons? For example, if you'll go and buy the things from a very small, what you call the vendor, like the vegetable sellers, those who are illiterate, those who are who don't have the what you call the education. On the other hand, if you go to the malls, or if you go to the sub higher brand what you call the business houses, what kind of difference do you find between these two people? Anyone like to answer the question? Ankit? You're not audible. Okay, what I was trying to say that my basic argument here I was trying to create is, all of you will always find one very interesting fact, that a person who is less educated, or the least educated person, that person will be less corrupt, that person will be less self-centered, or that person will be not very less emotional person. On the other hand, if you will see the person who is very well educated person, you will find that person will not have the ethics, or the morality principle will be not there, because the person will not think on the basis of their heart. The person, the educated person I am talking about, the person who is using the reason in terms to define the self interest rather than emotions and the values. The same thing has been raised by the John Locke. John Locke has asked a very basic question, that by birth all human beings are good or bad. He said all human beings are always been good, because we don't know, or we are not aware about the fact that this is my property, this is my mobile phone. There is no such kind of my component is there. He said that it is the environment, it is the society, it is the knowledge which corrupts the individual, it which corrupts the individual mind. You can imagine a world where you are living with your family, and there is no other person, a person is there. Do you think that you will kill your family members, or you will take the revenge from other person, or you will try to protect and promote your interest? The simple answer is no. So what John Locke was trying to say, that by birth, not no human beings, neither good nor bad, they are natural. Means whatsoever the nature will say, that they are always being. According to him, it is all the human beings are very good. They are peace loving. They always try to live in a very cooperative, cordial kind of society. But it is the property which corrupts the individual, which corrupts the individual person. So here I had some questions, but due to the lack of time, I'm not going to discuss these questions with you. I have prepared some question answer sessions for all of you, to not only for this end semester examination, but also for the competitive exams, like DU entrance examination, JNU entrance examination, and all. But now, due to the lack of time, now it is not possible for me to discuss those things. So here I would like to discuss you some last point related to the John Locke. With this chart, I would like to explain you the John Locke theory of whole his theory related to the state, whole his theory related to the social contract. So according to the John Locke, you all of you can see that how he was talking about the state of nature is here, and according to him, the state of nature is a time, or is a period when there was no corrupt practices were there. There was no fight between the people was there. There was no any issue at all was there in the society. Means people were very living in a very peaceful state. There was no war, there was no fight, there is no any kind of clash or a division between the people was there. All the people were living in a very peaceful life, very happy life. But after the invention of private property, and due to the private property, it has started a kind of state of war. He is talking about state of war, as well as the means as well as the kind of dispute between the people. So due to the state of war, what people have done, people have tried to form a government. The government can protect them from the war kind of situation. Why the government will be there? So he has talked about The government will protect the natural right, the right to life, right to liberty, and the right to property. He was talking about these three rights will be protected by the government. Now, the most important question is who will be the government? Who will be the part of government? The John Locke has said the government will not be the outside from the state. The government will be from the within the people. Means there are two stages of the government, as we have mentioned in the I had mentioned in the last lecture, that the first stage the people will form the civil society where they will get together and they will discuss their issues and they will try to solve the problem within the civil society. But after a certain period of time, what will happen? They will try to establish a government. They will try to choose a people within themselves, that this A B C person will be there as a part of government because they have trust with on these people or on these persons, and these persons are capable enough to take the correct decision related to the people. So this thing has been mentioned by the John Locke. So John Locke has said that government will be formed at the two level. First, the civil society will be formed, and at the second level, he has said the government will be formed on the basis of the social contract. The people will do the contract with the within themselves. Means the people will be a part of the civil society, and they will do the agreement that all you people are we are giving the power to you, we are giving our decision making capacity to you. On the behalf of that, you have right, you have responsibility to protect our natural right. And whenever there will be anything will be happen, so what to call the government can be changed. But this thing has not been mentioned by the John Locke, that how the government can be changed, what the process of the changing government can be there. So overall, the John Locke was trying to create a representative form of government. That's why the John Locke's theory of social contract can also be seen as a representative form of government. For example, in the examination, the question may come, critically examine the John Locke's theory of representative government. So you will say that, sir, you have not taught us that representative form of government. You have only mentioned about the social contract. So John Locke's theory of social contract is also another form of the representative form of government. It is the social contract can be synonym basis can be said that it is a representative form of government, because the people are look to what you call choosing the representative who can form the law or who can make the law or who can be the part of government. So you can say in that manner. So this thing I wanted to share with all of you. Now, the next thing which I want to share with all of you is the these important rights. So I'm talking about the John Locke's natural right. So these questions may come. Describe how the natural right philosophy uses the concept of consent and the social contract to explain the format of government. The explain the purpose of government based on the natural right. So first of all, I would like to, as all of you are aware about the fact that what is natural right philosophy, what the philosophy has been given by the John Locke. So John Locke has said, by birth, all individual, all human beings, by birth, they always get the right to life, right to liberty, and right to property. It is been there with them from the birth. By birth, all the people have these three things. So what happens, why there is a requirement of the government, why we do go for the government, or why we try to create a kind of social contract, or why we going to establish the representative form of government. So John Locke has said that due to the dispute between the people, the property has corrupted the individual mind. The property has corrupted the human nature. So he said that due to that, we can see that how the dispute between the people has been started up. So to solve the dispute first, and to establish and to protect the natural right of all the people, he has said that all the people will go by the nature of forming government which will protect the we should protect the natural right. Here in the next one lecture, there is one question has been, somebody has asked a question that what is the difference between the natural right and the law of nature. The natural right is the right to life, liberty, and the equality, property, whereas the law of nature is can be seen as the law of the nature is means we are not going to make any harm to any person. Means we are not going to harm any person's right to life. We are not going to harm any person's right to liberty. We are not going to harm any person's right to property. So this is a kind of, he has talked about, this is also kind of natural law, and he has also talked about this is known as a harm principle. Harm principle means the people are not going to harm the other person's natural right. So in examination the question can come that what is harm principle, critically examine the John Locke theory of harm principle. So all of you will say that, what is this harm principle, sir has never taught us. So this is the harm principle means the people are not going to harm any other person's natural right, either it is right to life, either it is right to liberty, or right to property is there. So he was talking about in that manner that we are not going to harm any person. And he said that the harm principle has been mentioned in terms to what you call to establish the government. So due to that we can say that how the purpose of the government was to secure the natural right, and the government is here to protect the all the human beings what you call the natural right. So he was talking about in that manner. Now the question is here, in examination also the question may come to all of you that do you think that the government which has been created by Thomas Hobbes was the legitimate government? Critically examine it. So means the question may come like that way. Either it may come for the Thomas Hobbes or either may come for the John Locke. So you need to mention here that the government which has been chosen by the John Locke is the legitimate and the more representative form of, of the government, because the people have elected the representative from themselves, and they have given the consent that, and consent means the permission to the person elected representative, that person can take the decision related to the individual, the person can take the decision related to the persons or whosoever the part of the civil society is there, the person can take the decisions related to that. So in this light we can say that John Locke was trying to create a legitimate government. The government will be created on the basis of consent. The people consent is there, that the person, the group of people are having all the rights to take the decision related to them. So in this light the question may come like this way. These are the important things which I thought to discuss with you. The question may also come, what do you understand by the term right? So right, you can say that a claim to have obtained something means the right is means a act that is what you call important for all the person, the requirement for all the person, means the thing which is been essential for all the individual. Without that thing no individual can survive. So you can mention this kind of thing in the right. And the question may also come related to the social contract theory, that how the social contract theory is being there. And lastly one more question may come in the examination. The question may come related to the liberal thinker. How do you think that John Locke been considered as a first liberal thinker? So you need to mention that it was the John Locke who has given the importance to the right to liberty. Before then, the John Locke, there was no person have talked about the right to liberty to all the person, and no person have discussed that it is the government is here for the people. Government is here to protect the to protect the right to liberty to all the persons. So it was the John Locke who has talked about the right to property. Right to property is also the natural right. Before then, the John Locke, there was no person who have discussed about this two important rights. A right to life has already been discussed by the Thomas Hobbes. So, in this regard, you can say that the practice which has been initiated by the John Locke is carried till now. In the modern world, we can see that how all individuals are not only the citizen of a particular country, but there is a concept has been evolved that is known as a global citizen. Now, for example, if I can call to all of you are Rahul, Nupur, yes, all of you are Indian citizens as well as the global citizen is also been there. So it means what I want to tell you with this global citizen term, that all the people, all the individual have the importance in terms of the right to liberty can be protected. If the state is failed to do so, you must have seen that in the Africa, in the Uganda, in the Sudan, how the government was not, unable to solve help the people. That point of time the United Nations have entered into the state, and the United Nations has tried to solve the dispute and try to protect the liberty of all the persons. So you can realize one important thing, that the concept of liberty which has been given importance has been given by the John Locke is still relevant. And in the contemporary era, the individuals are not only the citizen of a country, but individual is a global citizen. If any threat is there to any individual person's life, the global government can take the decision, the United Nations can take the decision. You can ask your question that why the USA has taken the active what you call the act on the terrorist. He has said that there was threat to not only to right to life, but there was also threat. The terrorist always demands that you should not come, you should not do this work. So they always intervenes in the matter of the right to liberty. So you can see also the terrorist activities and the USA's role or any other world global government. In the United Nations it has been discussed that the terrorist is a global terrorism is there, and we need to stop this global terrorism because it is harming the natural right, that is right to life and the right to liberty. So in this context you can also see that how the John Locke theory of the right to life, right to liberty is the core point of the liberal school of thought. And whatsoever we are looking in the modern world, that has already been paved or that has already been mentioned by the John Locke theory of natural rights. So you, in this manner you can mention the question. Now the critique part will come, that what are those negative points, what are those issues are there with the John Locke's theory of social contract, or what are those important mistakes are there related to the John Locke theory. The first critique the John Locke theory is that there is no check and balance kind of system is there. You have seen in the USA's constitution that there is a distribution of power is there between the legislature, executive, and the judiciary. This kind of thing, the check on the government, the question mark on the government has not been made by the John Locke. So there must be chances, there is chances that the government which was talking about by the John Locke may transform into the dictatorship form of the government, or authoritarian kind of government, or elite kind of class kind of government can be established, because there is no question kind of thing is there by the civil society, by the people. Like the Thomas Hobbes has said that if the Leviathan will fail to do or fail to protect the natural right or right to life, that point of time all the individual have the power to withdraw the social contract. Such kind of thing has not been given by the John Locke. So you can mention this is one of the important critique by the CL Vapor. The next critique has been mentioned by the feminist thinker. The feminist thinker has said that during that period of the time there was a very big discrimination was going against the women. John Locke was aware about all these things, but John Locke has nowhere talked about the women's protection, women's right to life, women's right to equality. So this thing has been made by the question by the feminist thinker. The next critique is been mentioned by the Marxist thinker. The Marxist thinker have said that the John Locke was the propounder of the capitalist class. He was trying to establish the capitalist system in the world. He was the person who was trying to establish a capitalist order, whatsoever the capitalist system we see in the modern era that has been established by the John Locke, or the given way by the John Locke. Because the Marxist thinker have said, without equality the liberty have no role. For example, if I'm giving the equality, not I'm not considering in this classroom all the boys and the girls are equal, and I'm giving you the opportunity, okay, you can do whatever the work you can do. You can imagine one student comes from the very rich family, money is there, that student will have 10 books. On the other hand, one student who comes from the very poor family, and the student doesn't have any books. So if I will say that open book exam is there, you can write the answer, you will realize the fact the student who is having 10 books will write good answer in compared to the student who doesn't have the books. So Marx has said that liberty without equality have no relevance. Liberty and the equality always go by hand to hand. Both of them are interdependent. So the liberty will be failed to what you call to publish without the equality. So Marxist thinker have criticized in this point. And lastly, I would like to say that the Sabine has talked about that John Locke has not talked about any justice to the people. If any wrong decision has been taken by the government, how the judiciary will be there. So these are the few critiques, few negative points are there. But overall, if you can say that how can we see the John Locke? So John Locke was the person who has propounded or talked about the individual. Individual is a important person, important point, but he was not possessive individual like the Thomas Hobbes, as the C.B. Macpherson has mentioned in his book. So he was just as a individualistic kind of thinker. He has given the preference to the individual, but not the radical thinker, radical like the Thomas Hobbes. He said the right to life is important, right to liberty is important, and right to property is important for the survival of all the individual. That's why he has given his theory, and to protect the natural right, social contract will be there. So these are the things which I wanted to discuss with all of you. So if any question is here, so you can ask me.
Yes, sir. What are the critics for the harm principle?
Critics for the harm principle, you can say that in the natural right, he has talked about that people will not harm the any other person, but you can say that Marxist thinker, that how the Marxist thinker has said that right to liberty is impossible without right to equality. Both of them will go hand to hand. Without right to equality, the liberty cannot be possible to implement it, because both of them are totally interdependent. For example, I can give you the I have given you the example of you have the book, and other student doesn't have the book to write the exam. So what is the meaning of this kind of liberty? One person can access the book, other person cannot. So he said that equality should be there, the book should be available to both the students. So he was talking about the equality principle, equality between the male and the female, the gender basis, or the what you call the class basis, he was talking about in that manner. And the next critique, you can say that he was the supporter of capitalist system, because he has talked about the right to property. Right to property means that all the person will carry the right to property will be there. So he was the person who has given the property as an important thing rather than the other thing. So the Marxist thinker have also criticized him for the right to property kind of principle, that he was the person who was trying to establish the industries or a kind of capitalist kind of model whatsoever we see. He was not talking about the equality between the people, the state ownership will be there. He has nowhere talked about the discrimination, how the discrimination has been made. The next thing you can say in terms of the harm principle is yeah, these are the important points for there.
Okay, sir. And also, he did not give an idea for legislature, executive, and judiciary, right?
Yeah, he has talked about the legislature, executive, and the judiciary will be the one person. The government, the social contract person, the government will be the legislature, executive, and the judiciary itself. He has not mentioned the check on the government that, for example, the group of people, for example, the group of people have taken the decision that this colony will be taken by A person or this colony will be taken by B person. So such kind of checks were not mentioned on the by the John Locke, that whatsoever the decision can be questioned by the people. For example, if any arbitrary or any radical kind of decision been taken by the government, there is no question mark can be put up by the people. So there was no check on the government.
Okay, sir. And one last thing is that in the syllabus I saw under John Locke that mentioned right to dissent.
Yeah,
So, what if a
right
question
to
comes?
consent is a form of right to dissent. Means you can talk about that how the power will come from top to bottom. Means he has not talked about the what you call, for example, as I had mentioned you in the social contract theory, he has not mentioned that from what time the government can be there. Either the government period will be 5 year, 2 year, whatsoever the time period is there. So he nowhere he has talked about the time period like we do have. The parliament will for the Lok Sabha will be the 5 year, the Rajya Sabha, the upper house will be the 6 year in the USA also. But he has nowhere talked about the tenure of the government, what kind of tenure will be there. So this is also one of the critique is there. But right to dissent, he has nowhere talked about this kind of thing.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Kumpur?
Sir, I don't have a question from this topic, but while revising, I had a question from Plato's theory.
Yeah,
Sir,
go
I
ahead.
was going through certain question papers, so I found one question there that is discuss the rationalist vision of Plato as brought out in his theory of philosopher king. So, sir, in this theory of philosopher king, are we actually supposed to tell about his vision on the ideal state? I had a query on this question, sir.
See, he has talked about the not only talked about the vision about the philosopher king. You need to understand the question. He was talking about what was the rationale behind the philosopher king, why he was trying to establish the philosopher king. So the simple answer is he has understood one important fact: the state cannot be controlled or ruled by the illiterate person or the person who doesn't have the education, who doesn't have the knowledge. So he said the educated person, the person who is having the rationality, who can use the reason and who is aware about the what is good for the state and what is bad for the state, who the person who can divide or who can take the decision on the basis of good versus bad. And that thing only be possible when the person is educated like the philosopher king. So you need to mention here three important points. The first is the education, that the philosopher king will be the educated person. Second, you need to mention that how the philosopher king will not hold any kind of private property also. The third thing you need to mention that the philosopher king will also aware about all the military exercise. Philosopher king will not the normal human being, because the philosopher king must have also attained the military exercise. So the philosopher king will aware about all the military activities. And the lastly, you can mention that the philosopher king will aware about the foreign rights, the whatsoever the foreign policy you talk about. So the philosopher king will also aware about what kind of decision, what kind of action we need to take to protect the state from civil war kind of situation.
Okay, sir. Sir, isn't it corresponding to the theory of education given by
No,
Plato?
so if the question will come related to the theory of education, you need to mention what are those education method has been mentioned by the Plato. Like you need to mention that education, what is the first definition of the education is there, what kind of method he has talked about, the three status are there for the education. You need to mention that what kind of education technique will be given. That is totally different question. Here only the core point will come, that why the education he has given.
Okay, sir. Understood. Thank you.
Any other student have any other questions related to any other topic? Now today onwards, now today